But yeah, like I was saying, oh my God. Like I was saying, we got some guests coming through this week. Yeah, man. Yeah, sure, whatever. Who gives a fuck, right? Nah. Yo, people. This little recovery process has been quite interesting. I brought up me and ChatGPT being like this because I don't got a therapist, right? But, and I know this might be grounds for judgment. Who gives a, you know what I mean? But I don't got a therapist, so a lot of questions I asked the ChatGPT, right? And that shit, I don't know how or what. AI is AI. It's super intelligent, but for whatever reason, that shit is on point, super on point. I'm asking it questions, and it's giving me the real spiel. It even taught me something that psychologists use. This term that psychologists use called ambiguous grief. And let me define that. Let me give the Webster definition of ambiguous grief. Ambiguous grief is the experience of grieving of someone close who is still alive or for a loss that's unclear. Okay, that's a decent one. Ambiguous grief is the experience of losing someone or something without a clear, tangible confirmation of that loss, such as death. Like I said, I don't know why my stream deck tripping, but I was gonna hit a button. But I got to that conclusion because I was drawing parallels between like my relationships in my life and how they've been affected by me losing my mother at a young age. I'm not trying to make this a deep stream. I'm just gonna talk about this real quick. But it made me realize, like, and this is all through ChatGPT, all this information that I got. It made me realize, like, people, how can I word this? You know what, I'm gonna just pull up the conversation that ChatGPT and I were having last night. How about that? So, and I'm always gonna be an advocate for therapy, of course. But therapists are like $100 an hour, and I don't have that right now. So let me show y'all what happened. This is a long conversation. So first of all, I had a dream about an old roommate. So that's really how this all started. I've been having a lot of dreams, and I've been putting in the dream to ChatGPT when I wake up from them and just asking for like a breakdown or an analysis. So I had a dream last night that one of my friends, no, not even one of my friends, a nigga who used to be my friend was in my dream. I ain't talked to this nigga in like 10 years, which is even crazy to say. But this nigga was in my dream, and I was asleep in my place, and the nigga was, I heard a sound, and then I woke up to go check what the sound was, and it was this nigga walking through my place. So then when I seen the nigga, he was like, yeah, bro, I just hit this chick, woo, woo, woo. And the chick that he hit was playing with that swine. So I inputted all this information in the ChatGPT. ChatGPT said, your house represents yourself, your mind, your life, and your boundaries. Being asleep can mean you are in a vulnerable, passive, or unaware state about something in your waking life. The noise you heard could symbolize a disturbance or something unresolved. The old roommate, especially the one you haven't seen in years, usually symbolizes old aspects of yourself, patterns, or old feelings. This isn't about that person per se, but what he represents to you. A time in your life, a type of behavior, a wound, or unresolved resentment or comparison. Him saying that he was with swine. That is the most, and this is all from ChatGPT. That is the most emotionally charged part. Swine represents someone you currently have complex feelings about. In the dream, you're not interacting with her directly. You're hearing about her from someone else. That often signals fears of betrayal, being left out, or feeling replaced. It could also mean your subconscious confronting the sense of she might be with someone else, or I'm not sure what's happening with her. Right? So from there, it's like what this dream might be saying about swine right now, about you right now. You got unresolved feelings about swine. This dream could be your subconscious playing out of fears, frustrations, or unfinished emotional ties with her. Even if you consciously tell yourself you're over it, the mind can still process feelings in dreams. Right? So let's go a little further. So from there, I asked it about some more. And it says, hold on. I got to talking about my mom in this chat with the GPT. It said, hold on. Understanding ambiguous grief. So let's talk about ambiguous grief for a second. When your mother passed at 11 years old, you lost her physically, but emotionally, she remained present in your psyche. Unfinished love, unfinished guidance, unfinished belonging. That's what makes it ambiguous. Your heart still seeks what it never got to complete. So you end up searching for the nurturing that was cut off, the stability that vanished overnight, and the validation that says you are safe, you are worthy, and you are loved for staying. Because that wound never had closure, your adult life, your adult self, keeps trying to finish the story through other people, romantic partners, friends, mentors, and professional relationships. Right? So, the way ambiguous grief shows up in relationships, emotionally, you love deeply and early. Your heart wants to finally feel secure. When people pull back, you feel it like abandonment, not just rejection. You give more than you receive because you subconsciously think, if I show up the way I wish people had shown up for me, they'll stay. Crazy, right? So then it says professionally, you compare yourself to others. But we're not even going to talk about that. The coping strategy with ambiguous grief. Here's how it shows up in your adult life. When you said you feel like someone on a noble mission, that's your psyche's way of making a spiritual meaning out of emotional pain. It's saying if I can't have normal love and comfort, maybe suffering has purpose. Right? Let's continue. on. Cause I'm like, this is Chat GPT be going crazy, right? Wait a second. Let me show y'all what was next that was important. So what it made me realize from there. My fault. 1 second. What it made me realize from there is like, damn. So most of my decisions for my adult life has been made from a place of grief, bro. That fucked me up. Cause then that means my whole life's been a lie. At least that's what I thought in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So hold on. Let me give you some more professional advice from ChatGPT. It said, there's grief for your mom for the love you didn't get, and every person who's reopened a wound. Yeah, okay, cool. Hold on. What? Yeah. So from there, with me having this realization, I said to ChatGPT, I said, so basically, I've been living my whole life from a place of grief. How do I reclaim my life from a healthy place at 35 years old? This makes me feel like I built a house on sand. This motherfucker says, that's a very honest realization, and it's the point from which real change starts. If you got therapists, you need to at least tamper with the idea of fucking with ChatGPT, right? It said, yes, when love and safety are interrupted early, the rest of life often gets built around the wound. You keep moving, succeeding, creating, but the foundation is grief and survival instead of peace and trust. Nick. The good news, you can pour a foundation without tearing the whole house down. Healing at 35 isn't about starting over. It's about reinforcing what you already built with new materials, such as awareness, self-compassion, and emotional safety. When you live from grief, your actions come from a fear of loss. For example, if I don't prove myself, I'll be forgotten. Living from health means your actions come from presence. I'm building because I love what I'm creating. Right? The first step is catching when you're acting out of the old script and pausing long enough to choose differently. Ask yourself throughout the day. This is honestly some deep shit, I can't lie. Night Rider, what's up, man? Ask yourself throughout the day, am I doing this to be seen or because it's meaningful? Am I chasing connection or am I creating it? Every time you choose the second answer, you lay one brick on solid ground. Right? So from there, yeah, it was talking about ways to get over it. ChatGPT always providing solutions and shit. It's like, nigga, sometimes I just want to vent. So I was like, so this is the reason why I haven't been successful in my career? I'm gonna just be real candid with y'all now. Because I'm trying to be seen. I've always said I never felt love for my family, so being rich and famous would make the entire world care about me, nigga. I posted, okay, yeah. It said it makes total sense why you would connect those dots. When love and affirmation were scarce growing up, your nervous system learned a single equation: visibility equals safety. If you weren't going to be loved for simply existing, then maybe you'd be loved for achieving. That strategy can make you talented, hardworking, and relentless, but it also keeps your worth tied to external validation, which means every quiet season in your life feels like abandonment all over again.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
I said nigga. That fucked me up. So when your motivation is to be seen so you finally feel loved, it creates an invisible break. Creative anxiety. Every project carries the weight of this has to prove my value. That pressure kills flow. Burnout cycles. You push hard, you get a flash of recognition, and then crash when it fades. So your brain links achievement with exhaustion and emptiness. The next bullet point was unconscious self-sabotage. Part of your fears that even fame won't fill the hole. So you hesitate right before the next big step. I don't agree with that. I don't do that. It's not that you lack skill or opportunity. It's that your engine has been powered by fear of invisibility instead of love of expression. Bro, I'm talking about tore me to pieces. Like, you just broke my whole existence down. It says the old fuel was, if they see me, I'll be loved. The new fuel needs to be, I create because this gift is how I love, right? When you shift to the new fuel, the same ambition becomes peace-driven instead of panic-driven. And that's what consistency, magnetism, and real success starts to lock in. Right? And it said the bigger truth. You've never been broken. You were just running a survival program that kept you alive when you didn't have love. Now that you're conscious of it, you can rewrite it. Your success will hit different when it's built on peace. It'll be sustainable. Knight Rider said, man, if ChatGPT don't sound like the best free therapist, on God. On God. And I'm like, bro. Yeah, like, I never knew that's where I was operating from. You know, I always felt like, you know, I knew that from my relationships, I knew from my relationships I was not existing from a positive place, especially with my ex that I was with for like almost 10 years. I knew I wasn't in a positive like it wasn't built on something positive, you know what I'm saying? I know it was built on fear in a sense, because my whole thing was like, I was always, see, I'm not trying to make this like a therapy session. I'm not trying to make this a therapy session. One of my fears in having kids was like, you know, I seen my mother pass when she was young. She was like 40, 41. I was like, I was afraid to have kids because I didn't want that to be my reality, and then I leave my kids behind, or I leave my family behind and with no leadership. You know what I'm saying? So that's been something that I've always had in my mind. And then when I read that yesterday on ChatGPT, I'm like, okay, yeah, that just confirms, like, nigga been living. It's crazy because you could, like it said, bro, you can achieve success and all this stuff from the wrong place. And then not realize why you feel empty, and then niggas be getting addicted to drugs and all type of shit. And it's like, because you trying to fill some void that, you know, you done buried so far deep into your psyche, because you ain't know how to, nigga, I don't know how to process all that. I couldn't process all that by myself and without the help of a professional. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when you see Young Thug, like, yeah, I think if you got to talk to a therapist, I'm not a man. Like, bro, you sound so goddamn stupid, bro. I'm sorry, Young Thug. You just don't sound smart, my boy. That's toxic. That's very toxic. That's very manipulative. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yo, I think I'm not even going to talk about anybody else. I know I have to ask myself from now on, am I existing? Am I making decisions from a place of love and peace and safety and confidence, or is it being made out of fear? And to think that the total sum of my life is where it is because a nigga been making decisions out of fear, bro, that shit just making like, damn, bro, like, I've been living wrong the whole time. That's crazy. No matter how positive I think I am or how inspiring I try to be or whatever the case is, like, no, nigga, you've been making decisions from fear. Your achievements have come from fear. And I'm like, oh, that's why I don't think I ever really been happy for real. Cause it's been like 2 or 3 people this week that asked me like, yo, you happy out here? Are you happy in LA? Are you happy? And I be trying to stall it and be like, I mean, you know, it's got some goods and some bads. But if I'm being completely honest with myself, bro, no, bro, I'm not, bro. Cause this shit has nothing about this experience that I've been here for the last 2 years, besides going to 1500 Sound Academy and doing all that and like completing that program, there hasn't been no like really good points where I've been like really genuinely happy, bro. Even down to the bread. When I first got out here, my nigga, like, my account was in the red every fucking week. Every week. And I only had this conversation with ChatGPT is because, like, bro, and it started to click for me because no matter how hard I work out here, no matter how many jobs I have, no matter how much hustling I do, it just still don't be enough. And I'm like, okay, something got to change because, nigga, I done had this surgery. I can't even work. And my money's starting to run out. And it's like, dog, a nigga got to figure something out. You know what I'm saying? My Night Rider said, side note, my guy, if you ever really wanted to talk about some shit without it costing you money and you want a real human to human response, I promise you we can speak for real. If you feel like opening up to a non-judgmental black man. No, that, oh damn, my knees ashy as shit. God damn. Nah, I feel you, Night Rider. I appreciate that, man. You know, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. My thing is like, I just don't be trying to offload all my shit on people because we all got a lot of shit going on. But I'm damn near gonna take you up on that, man, because like a niggas need to start a men's group. You know what I'm saying? Where we could just like virtually sit in a circle and be like, yeah, man, you know, a nigga dealing with this, a nigga dealing with that. But I was actually seeing some shit about a study that was like, when niggas complain, it don't really help. It don't really, it actually triggers your brain and releases cortisol because you getting stressed talking about it. But it's like, what the fuck you supposed to do then? And I journal. I don't journal as much as I used to and as much as I need to right now. But it's like, yeah, I'll be trying to just fucking chalk it up to the game and keep moving forward. But especially after this surgery, it's got to a point where it's like, dog, I can't keep doing this shit, bro. Like I can't keep going to the motherfucking gym to take a shower every day. Like that shit is not cool. That shit has never been cool. I never thought that was cool, and I'm definitely not trying to do it in the process of recovering from a fucking surgery. He said we as black men need to be able to have people we can just speak to on some man-to-man shit, honestly. Y'all, you right, bro. You right, bro. You right, bro. You right, bro. Without feeling like, God damn, my knee ashy than a bitch. I'm gonna hide my knee as I talk and shit, nigga. This is crazy. We do, bro. We do, bro. We do. All honesty, man, we do. Cause it be a lot going on in everybody's life. You know what I'm saying? Especially us as black men trying to figure out how to navigate this shit, how to take care of ourselves, take care of our family, worrying about all the shit going on in the government and all that. It's like, dog, nigga, I can't tell you the amount of anxiety that was triggered in my life from driving out here, nigga. Cause, and I don't have this problem no more, but it's like my plates from Atlanta, I never got them shits renewed, and it was like them shits was expired. I was driving around this bitch about 2 years expired plates, and it's like, dog, the amount of fucking anxiety I will feel in my body anytime a cop car roll past me, roll behind me. It's like, dog. But I can't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what I'm gonna tell a nigga? Like, yeah, bro, nigga just be, nigga anxious. It's like, niggas like, nigga, I'm anxious too. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't need to do that. I didn't need to start a men's discussion in the Discord like once a week and really, really do it though. Like, not just be on here talking on stream to sound cool. He said, I'm so non-judgmental, I don't even realize your legs was ashy till you said it. You funny as fuck. Yeah, let me get my lotion. Pause. Look, my motherfucking buttons ain't working right now, man. This shit be tweaking. Anyway, I think we had enough therapy with Sebastian. Let's get into